Well, today is September 1st, 2016, and we are interviewing Jim Bailie in Hillsboro at the Tremont Ridge Assisted Living Facility. My name is Sue Burkholder, and I will be the interviewer. Jim was born on April 30th of 1938, making him 78 years old. Jim, would you please state for the recording in what war and branch of service that you served?
I served in the Army, and I was in the time of the Vietnam War.
Okay. All right. Well, Jim, would you tell us just a little bit about, where you were born and your family, if you had any siblings and your parents, that type of thing?
Yeah, I was born in Grant County, Wisconsin, and I had 3 sisters and 1 brother. None of my family had ever been in the military. I was the only one. And I was, like I said, I was drafted because of the Berlin Wall. And you people probably don't know this, at that time, everything was hot. I mean, hot. Because when I went in, there was 75,000 people went in, and we was all at Fort Leonard, Missouri. Mm-hmm. And but the biggest thing, my thing was, we spent a lot of time in the field, and we went to Oxford, Mississippi, when James Meredith was going to be go to Ole Miss, and we went down to make sure he went. Make sure he got to go. And then we came back, and we went back maybe a few days, and we went to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And that's when George Wallace said that there was no kids that come to his school. Mm-hmm. And we proved that wrong. And then we came back, and maybe we went back maybe a week, and then we went to I can't name the place because we was out in the field, but we went to the Keys in Florida, and we were supposed to go,
Okay.
And we was out there pretty good while. But see, I was in the quartermaster. And what we was the backup, who took care of, or whatever you want to say, to the 101st Airborne Division at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And that, at that time, the 101st and the 82nd out of North Carolina was the only 2 Air Force do with the Army. And it was. I never served meals and stuff like that, but we always had so much stuff to take care of. Helmets would be straightened up, canteens they'd drive over the deuce and a half and smash them, and we supposed to straighten them back up. Just things like that. But we spent a lot of time. And the biggest thing of all this is, and when we came back from then, from the Keys, they would get us out, probably 2 o'clock in the morning, and when we'd go someplace, maybe Florida or someplace like that, because it was still hot down there. When we came back, the thing wasn't over with yet. 2 shifts were still doing this thing, but. We would come back the next morning and try to get some sleep. Next night the same thing. This went on probably 2-3 months. And of course nobody likes that kind of stuff. But then we spent a couple summer. Well, I spent one summer. The second summer I didn't go because of poison. I had infection. I mean, these medics would give you Talmud morphine, calamine emulsion. It ain't with 10 cents. I mean, you might want to dump water on you. It might do about much good. So it got worse and worse and worse, and I went to Fort Bragg Hospital in North Carolina, and I was in there for, well, I think maybe a month and a half, something like that. With I have infection up now. I got scars on my legs where my legs broke open and all that stuff. It just, and gnats. You see the gnats we had here last summer, and sweat bees. That ain't nothing compared to what North Carolina was. It was terrible. It was terrible. So it's just hot and sandburrs and all that junk. But that was about the biggest part of my military. You know. Then when I got out, we stayed in Kentucky. We lived there. We lived there 30 years. And we would have went back when I worked out there in the prison now here at Graham and in Pontiac too. But we would have went back to Kentucky, and in fact I still got property down there. And I told my wife, I said, no, I ain't moving no more. No. So we didn't go. But that's pretty much my life, you know.
Okay. Well, when you first were drafted,
yeah.
Where did you say you went for basic training?
Fort Leonard Wood.
Fort Leonard Wood. Missouri. Okay. And just in general, how was basic training? I mean,
awful. That's a general you can get, you know. But they tell you right off the first day you're there, you're going to hate us. You're going to hate this, and that's what it's all based on, you know. You do it because we told you to do it, or whatever. And there's not the doing part of it. That's not nothing. Just the way that they talk to you all the time and things like that. And I went to school in Fort Wayne, Virginia, and spent 6 months out there, I think, or maybe a year. I don't know. And that was probably some of the best that I had. But they wanna. That was their motivation to make you do better, do the best you can. But the only thing you wanted was to get out of that basic training, and that's how they did it. And I can see why. I see why they did that stuff, and it wasn't good, that's for sure. But I think the greatest thing of the military was I got to see some things that I would never see otherwise. Mm-hmm. I have been in Korea. Mm-hmm. We didn't. That was after the war, and we went over there on a maneuver. Spent a couple of weeks, I think, something like that. But it's a very interesting place. So.
Yeah. So, what was your advanced training? What was that in when you were done with basic training?
I should tell you this. You probably would think, well, that's dumb. Shoe repair, making shoes, fixing shoes, mm-hmm. And what they would do, they'd take a dump truck, and they'd go and get their shoes wherever they got them at, bring a whole dump truck full of shoes. So there was probably, I said probably 3 or 4 of us guys there running around fix shoes. And you mess up one pair, you throw it in the garbage, and you get another pair. But they would go get these shoes, and that's what we put. But once I don't think I ever touched another pair of shoes as far as fix them. You know, Army is straight that way. Army is like about like the state of Illinois. Hey, here's your job. you do the best you can. And you maybe whatever it was, maybe you haven't seen that before, you know. So, but I really I really appreciate the fact that I got to meet a lot of interesting people. People from New Jersey who talk their own language or own English. I don't think they talk. I don't think they talk English, but whatever it is. People like that, and they was all, and we had a bunch of them. I don't know why, but we had a bunch of them. But another thing, when I graduated from high school, I went to I didn't get drafted until I was, what, 23? Yeah, I think it was 23. I went to Milwaukee for my introduction to way back on. And I seen one guy that I graduated from high school with, and that is the only guy I've ever seen since I left the night we threw our hats in the air. So.
Did you make any lasting friendships?
Probably not really. I knew several that came. See, like I said, I grew up in Wisconsin. We lived in Kentucky for 30 years, so that's pretty good distance. But I knew some people that moved down there, and I got orders from them. And they wanted to, just meet and talk, and I never, somehow things didn't work out. But I've never seen anybody since then that I had my graduated from high school with. So.
What about when you were in for 2 years, correct?
Yeah,
and then 4 years of reserve.
Yes.
Okay. When you were actually in that 2 years, what did you do for like entertainment or relaxation where you were stationed?
Probably nothing, because I'm a preacher, and I wasn't back then, but I am now. I don't know. We did, when we was in Virginia, we did go to a few places. We went. Virginia is a very interesting place too, because there's so much history there. And we went to several places that, other than that, I don't know. Oh, Kentucky, yeah, well, it was Mammoth Cave and stuff like that, but for recreation, I guess. I believe in working. I think that's how life is. And I still do.
Mm-hmm.
I still do.
Okay. So when you were in the 4 years of reserve, were you mostly? Did you ever? I guess I must say, were you ever deployed while you were in reserve?
No. No. See, I like I told you, when I was at Fort Campbell, we was what we call a quartermaster, and that is to you supply the whatever, like the 101st Airborne Division, whatever they need. If they need some shoes fixed, if they need some cold sore or tents fixed and stuff like that, that's what we were supposed to do. Well, somehow I was always thinking someplace else and worked on different things, but I didn't do anything like that. We didn't do anything else. We had a parade about every other day, which I couldn't stand. And by the way, I was out about 2 months. No, less than that. I was out about a month when President Kennedy got shot. And I was so afraid that they'll call me. I would be called, but I wasn't attached to no division. Now I went to meetings. I went to summer camp at the Blackstone, Virginia. but I was never, as far as being attached to a unit, I never was. Because, I think it's because that my location in Kentucky, we wasn't, it was the group that I was supposed to be attached to when we went to summer camp. I think most of them was from up around Cincinnati, up in that area, Ohio. So I never was attached to local people, let's put it that way.
How do you feel that your service, your time in the service, and any experiences that you had have affected your life?
Oh, greatly, greatly. First of all, since I was just like, I grew up on a farm. We farmed, and that's all. That's the only thing I knew. And that's the only thing I thought about, and that's all. The only thing I wanted to do was just farm. But once I went in the military service, and according with other people and people that probably different things different what we did because we were farmers and so on. But again, I told you, I see things that I wouldn't do otherwise, and I think the biggest thing is I just got to know a lot of different people of different origins, different way of life from what we have. I grew up on a farm, and I didn't know all that stuff out there. I didn't know that. The only thing I knew was fun. Probably when I went in the military service, farthest I ever been from home, it was about 20 miles. And so I was just a dumb old paw boy, so, but it's again, it's to me, it's maybe I was forced to. If it is, well, I thank the military service for it. I appreciate what the Army has done for my life, because my wife is from Kansas. I grew up in Wisconsin. Oh, that's a long way apart, and we were married. I only seen her about 6 times before we got married, and we got married just before I went to service, and about a month it was, and she went with me. She went to basic training with me, so she couldn't stay with me, but lo and behold, in Richmond, Missouri, which is just probably, I don't know, about 30 miles from the camp. She stayed. That's her family originally from Missouri, and she stayed with them, and she stayed with me all the time. But I was in the Army, and I worked all post. And I was on post when that basic training, and I think that was all. That was it. So it made my military life a lot more pleasant. The biggest thing was that the separation that we had when I would go off to the field, which was quite often, and stuff like that. So,
well, what life lessons, are there any life lessons that you learned because of your military service?
I don't know. One thing I've learned, and maybe it wasn't all because of military service, it's because of the last several years that I understand. Right now, I buy old houses and fix them up, and then I give them to somebody. I give them to somebody. All they got to do is sign a deed, and here you go. It's all yours. And right now I've got seven houses too. That's probably what I end up doing. But I still work on houses, and To me, I think the most important thing you said, what lesson that we would learn that would help us better mankind, whatever, is the fact that I come to this conclusion that we should help one another. We was farmers. We all farming group. We was all together, but that's not like I would give you a house. There's a big difference. And I try to get people. I try to get these houses given to like some young kids that don't have you kids, they get married and have a couple of children and they can't afford a house, So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, probably 8 houses now that I got people living in that I get to them. Yeah, and I still got some property in Kentucky, which when me and my wife passed on, that all goes probably to the people down there. I built a house down there that's 4,200 square foot, and it's a big house, pretty good sized house anyway, and the people it will be theirs.
Well, how do you feel your military experience influenced your thinking about war or the military?
Well, again, in my day and time, when I was growing up, we talked about the Krauts. We talked about the Japs. We feared these people. Not because they all walked around with big guns and stuff like that. It's because we didn't know no better, and we just told them you should be afraid of the people. Well, that's not. And by the way, I didn't tell you that. When I was growing up, most of my growing up time, I lived with German people. I lived with this man and his wife, and then in 1949, I know they had what they call DPs, displaced persons, came over, but he was not included in this group. He came over because his brother brought him over. Paid for it, whatever they did. And I lived with them people all my growing up time, and I knew a whole lot about German people, and they're not as bad as a lot of people like to make you believe, And just right now, some of these people, we fear them, because that's the only thing we hear is bad. But there's some people are good people too, So.
Well, are there any comments if somebody were to watch this interview with you, say the younger generation, are there any comments or anything that you would like to tell them?
Well, I don't know. I see a lot of things every day. I could tell some of these jokers if I could make them. First of all, I would like to tell them, you respect one another. And people do not do that, and you know that. And I would tell them I believe, to take care of one another. And people don't do that either. If you don't make it, I don't care. That's people's attitude. I see this all the time, and it's a sad deal because, well, back during the Depression, just I don't remember the Depression that much. I remember the after parts of it. That's how only way people can get along. Why can't we do that now? But we don't. So now we have so many programs. You grow up and like your home life, so I'm going to run away and do what I want to do. Well, back then you didn't run away and do what you want to do because there was no place to run to. But now they got all kinds of this. Okay. So, but I would say respect for one another, and I think about that. I preach on this quite a bit because I feel like that's one of the most needful things that we have. That we are slowly, maybe more faster than I think, drifting away from it. Yeah. So.
I just thought of something else. You mentioned that your job was to fix things.
Yeah.
And to support.
Yeah.
So if you think about that, and then you think about what you're doing now, fixing up houses and things, was that what influenced you to do that?
It probably had a big part in it. Biggest thing that influenced me is fix up the houses is the fact that we had some. See, we've been here 30 years. No, we've been here 20 years. Yeah, we've been here in Hillsborough 20 years. Until we don't have nobody here, no kid people, and the biggest thing I would see that thought is the fact that the young people that we put in some of these houses, we just like to see them make something of themselves. Not just sit out here and be discouraged and don't do nothing all their life, and that happens. I know it does. It's to me it's a tragic thing because at least do something. If it don't work, try something else. But they don't want to. But I do believe, and I know I can show you at least three families. Well, we got a family right now. She's her and her husband didn't get along, and he left her, and she went this way and that way, blah blah blah. They ended up with 5 kids, and right now he's we paid for him to get a license to drive a truck, and he's driving a truck, and she's going to school in Westfield to be a. She wanted to get some kind of medical degree where she worked in a hospital or something. So I think they're doing real well with 5 kids. You can't do a whole lot, but my wife babysits them almost all the time. In fact, that one, they just have a little girl. She's about a 1.5 years old. She babysits her every day. So yeah, it's. But they came from families. They came from families that just don't have nothing, don't want nothing, don't try to have nothing, and hopefully that. And if they continue with this, they'll have something someday. Or they'll have that house. I know that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you said you grew up on a farm.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to connect this to. I know what you did in the service was assigned to you.
Yeah.
But do you feel like the mindset and how you were raised on the farm and the people who helped raise you, do you feel that helped you?
Absolutely.
In the
Absolutely.
Army, while you were in the service?
Yes. In this way, I think mostly, I feel like it helped me in the fact that there's nothing wrong with farming. Don't get me wrong here, because when I went to high school, that's the only thing I thought about was farming. I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to do my studies. I'm going to do a bit of farming. I'll just be a dumb farmer. Well, that's fine. But yes, I definitely think it did, because it taught me to a lot of values in life that I probably wouldn't have had otherwise. I wouldn't took time to stop and think about them and try to do them. So, oh yeah, it's I would, we grew, I had a sister and one brother, and me, and we were all about a year apart. And then the other two came on 6, 7 years later on. But as three, I always felt like it. The farming knowledge that we had helped us. And by the way, I don't have nobody in farming today. Nobody. Not, of our family. And just Wisconsin at that time. We was from the Southwest, Wisconsin. Everybody was farmers. That's all it was. Farm. So I remember one day, the days that some of the people kind of gave up farming and drove to Dubuque, our way, and I started working in John Deere and different places down there. And I thought, well, boy, these people, what are they doing? Do all that for? They got a farm here. Why don't you stay home and run it? But that's the way it wasn't. And when I got through, and this. His farmer, he stayed with it. He bought, and he got a whole bunch of farms and so on. And then there's not very many farmers there no more. Because back then, if you had a few old cows and a few chickens, and that's what the farmers raised their family on. Just like when we lived in Kentucky. I stripped tobacco a lot in Kentucky, and that's the way the farmer was. They had what they call a tobacco base of a burley and green, and that's what they raised their family on.
Well, Jim, I want to thank you so much for your time and for telling your story, and thank you for your service to our country.
Okay, thank you.